So, the Kingdom of Crusaders is a two-player card game from Russian board games. The box says you can play up to 4, but you need another copy of the game, so it's really only 2-player. In order to win, you must create the most powerful kingdom using soldiers, knights, and leaders. So the game supposedly takes place during the Crusades. It has nice-looking pictures on the cards, but it's mostly an abstract card game. So in the box you get 56 unit cards, and these are what you'll be using to try and create a bigger and better kingdom than your opponent. So each card has up to 5 icons showing the grouping of units the card represents. And the icons are of ascending power from left to right. You have 2 location cards, and both players lay these out mirroring one another, lining up the 5 sectors. And you'll only play 20 cards per game, and you'll only play 4 cards per sector. And these keep track of how well you're doing against your opponent in any particular sector. You have 15 victory markers, and these are mainly for multiplayer games, when you have another copy of the game. So for 2-player, they're not really used. So in the 2-player variant, or the 2-player game, the winner is the one who wins the most territories. Sectors, I guess. To play, you're going to draw a card and play a card on each turn. That's pretty much the gist of the game. And your goal is to have the highest number of a single icon in a sector. And of the possible army squads you can have is a company, which is 2 symbols of the same kind. You can have a battalion, and that's 3 symbols of the same kind. Or you can have a regiment, which is the most powerful, and it's 4 symbols of the same kind. So to compare, you first look at your regiments in a particular sector. And if only one player has a regiment there, they're going to win the sector. But if there's a tie for regiments, then you see who has the most powerful regiments, from left to right, the icons. So you're going to do the same thing with the battalions and the companies. And the player who wins the most sectors is the winner. So the box that holds the game is a little flimsy. The cards are on stock that feels a touch too light for heavy use. And the broken English on the instructions can be hard to follow in certain areas. But even with all those things, the game itself is pretty solid. I played quite a few times in one sitting with a friend of mine, and after struggling a bit with the rules, we flew through a few games, and we just kept playing while we talked. The Kingdom of the Crusaders almost reminds me of some of my favorite Knizia 2-player games like Battalion or Lost Cities. Now, it's not quite up to that level, but it's a solid title and one that I might break out, maybe in more casual company.